Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Women You Should Know. I am so excited about today because the woman that I have invited is a game changer when it comes to finding and engaging and nurturing your leads. When you think about the sales funnel and the process and everything that goes into it, she has the most out of the box but impactful tools that she and her team deliver for people. I have worked with her personally, so I can vouch for how amazing she is. This is Emma Barrera of Right Hand Glam. She is the creator and founder. And Emma, I am just so excited for everyone to get to know you. Not only are you just like this kick-ass woman who can just, I just love, first of all, and I love when you give your hot takes and everything, but you have this amazing offer that really has changed what engagement looks like on Instagram. So why don't you go ahead, just introduce yourself to everyone. Tell us a little bit about your story and how Right Hand Glam came to be.
Great. Every time someone asks me that question, I'm like, I don't even know where to start because I have a lame answer, which is like it all just happened by accident. So I'm Emma. Hi, hello. I have always offered engagement since like right hand glam wasn't even really right hand glam, but I didn't always do it the way I do it now. And I think it's so important to say that because I used to do engagement the way everybody else thinks about engagement. Everybody who hired us, they were just looking to get as many followers as they could in really a 1 or 2 week period. We were only working with people for very short amounts of time. And now we have worked with some people for about a year now, which blows my mind that we've been around long enough to even be able to say that. But when I started out, I had just left, like many people, a toxic corporate job. I was working at a financial tech startup that was very predatory in what we were doing, but like no one wanted to talk about that. And I was working literally like abusive hours. Like my day would start at 6 a.m., like working, like logging on to work, and I would log off sometimes at 10 p.m. or midnight with no break. It was insanity. And so in January of 2020, I walked out the door and I was like, I'm not coming back. Which, poor timing, but we didn't know what was going to happen. And at that time, I was working 4 jobs. So I was 21. I was 21. That makes sense, I think. I was 21. And I was working the front desk at a gym. I was hostessing in a restaurant, and I was teaching spin. All things that are not ideal to be doing right as a global pandemic starts. And so then I really just started doing things like media kits, like 1 or 2 social posts here and there, engagement as it was back then at the time, and just kind of like scrambling to get enough money together to pay rent because everything I had been doing, I now couldn't do because we were in full lockdown. And so it wasn't until June of 2021 that the game really changed, that we started doing engagement as people know us now to do engagement, which is using data-driven strategies to create conversations that convert to cash, as we like to say it, which is essentially a fancy way of saying getting you leads and then booking those leads so you can rake it in. So it's been a very wild ride of figuring out, like, did I want to be a social media manager? Did I want to just do engagement? Was there something more here? And it turns out there really was. And we cornered a market that didn't even exist when we cornered it. And so now we've been able to position ourselves as the people that everybody comes to. And so I think I feel like you probably get this too, that like we're a very small but mighty presence. Like if we want to get into the followers talk, like we only have 2,600 followers, but we're doing, the same kind of revenue and the same kind of work that these like 20, 30, 40, 50,000 follower accounts are doing, which is, I think, really puts things into perspective in terms of the power of engagement.
Oh, 100%. So let's rewind a little bit, because for anyone who is newer or not as familiar with what engagement looks like, can you paint the picture for everyone of what engagement used to look like and sort of the decision of what needed to change?
Yes. So the easiest way to explain this is we divide engagement into 2 sectors: outbound, external, and internal engagement. So you can call it outbound or external and then internal. For these purposes, let's just call it internal and external. It used to really be focused on external engagement. So that was pretty much like bait engaging with people as we know how to do, where you like a few photos and you leave a nice comment and you reply to their story and then they follow you. Great. We love that. We all need that kind of growth and we want to make sure it's targeted and smart. And we would do that. And we would answer people's comments and we would make sure that their inboxes were empty at the end of the day. And that was it. That was all that we did. That was external engagement. And that's what most people think engagement is when they come.
Right.
They're like, so you just like answer likes and comments. I'm like, no, 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 no. So the difference in what we do now is we take a look at the data that people have. So say it's your email list, service guide downloads, abandoned carts, people that booked strategy calls once upon a time and never converted. Like if you have data on it, we can somehow leverage it. And we use that data as jumping off points to close the gap between your audience and where you're leaving money on the table. Because a lot of the time we don't think strategically about all of those things, right? Like we have a service guide and we know people download it. But do you ever actually look at who's downloaded it and who has booked calls and who hasn't? That's what we try to do. So we take all of that data and then we bring it to Instagram and we go find those people and we bring them to you. So we do a wide range of things from, just bringing in new followers for people who are looking for growth. I shouldn't really say just though, because that is super important. We all do need to grow and there needs to be new leads in the pipeline and you accomplish that through external engagement. But we also make people a shit ton of freaking money by just looking at what they have and what they haven't attended to.
I love that. And I remember when I first found out about you, I was like, this girl speaks data. She speaks about engagement. She speaks about nurturing, and like everything you do is so smart. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the fact that it's so hard to step outside of a box that is very carefully created. It's so hard to step outside the box. So when you started changing the game of what engagement looked like, and there's no one else around you doing this, like what is it that kind of guided you into those next steps?
Hiring a coach is the first thing I'll say. And that might also sound like a cop-out answer, but you really can't do this on your own. And I had ideas that were bigger than me and no one had done this before. And so I needed to get another set of eyes on it. I needed to be like, look, this is what I want to do. This is what nobody's doing yet. I need help there. The other thing is really, it's a lot of unlearning and deconditioning people, because people think and still think that engagement is this one thing. And we'll still have clients that occasionally will thankfully end up leaving us, but they come and they're like, well, my stats haven't increased when I look at my insights. And I'm like, but that's not what you hired me for. You know, you hired me to help you build your email list, fill out your retreat, sell out your masterclass, get people on a wait list for your roster, make sure that the revolving door of your roster always has people coming in, fill up your group program. That's really the kind of engagement that we do. That's what we mean when we talk about engagement. So it's really been teaching people that it's not this anymore and it is this. And oftentimes I feel like I am screaming into the void until, once in a blue moon, someone slips into my inbox and they're like, wait, we actually do these things that you say every day and it makes sense and it's helping our business. And I'm like, thank God someone somewhere is listening. And I'm not just screaming into the void.
I love that so much. So you have a team. What does that look like? I mean, I feel like you've grown significantly since like even last fall. So what does that look like to be a leader?
Let's say like March of 2021, I had 2 gals on my team, and I'm open to talking numbers. So we were bringing in about 6K a month.
Okay.
And I had 2 gals on my team. Then we bumped it up to 4 about 3 months later. And now there are 6. So we have 1 or 2 that are in Philly with me, 3 that are in Austin, and 1 that's actually popping back and forth between Italy and Canada, which is so cool for me. And we have scaled to 20K plus months, and we currently serve 22 women worldwide just in our done for you services. So we're looking at Canada, Mexico. We've worked with someone in Norway. We're about to start working with someone in Australia, which, like, if you're a service provider in the US, like, that securing clients in places like Australia is not something that's easy, not just because of the time difference, but because of the
Right.
currency exchange. So like
Right.
that's a huge
Yeah.
win for us. And really some of the biggest shifts have been internal, and how we, little things like clocking in and clocking out every day, client reporting, tracking on the back end. Every single conversation we have, we track. We have notes about it. We know when we talk to someone. We know how many times we've talked to someone. We know where they're at in our nurture sequence. It's really just been intentionally building systems that support what we're doing, because we firmly believe that engagement is something. I know you're like systems. It's really about making sure that the clients understand that this is collaborative, because engagement only works if you do. So if you're not out there selling your shit, I can't do my part of the deal and say to people, hey, I'm selling my shit, come buy
Right.
it.
Right.
So it's been a lot of systems, a lot of really kind of ripping out entirely what we were doing before and just rebuilding things as we were going. So like we still kind of are. We're like building a boat as it's sailing, but like the boat just keeps getting bigger and better as
Yeah.
the months go on. So over the past 6 months, I would say that we have pretty much doubled our monthly revenue. We have the biggest team that we've ever had, and we've had the most clients we've ever had.
That is amazing. And how are you doing? How do you like you have sort of this mini empire that is quickly growing.
Yeah.
So how do you handle all of that on top of life and on top of because I know that you're super involved with your local theater. So what
Yeah.
does it look like to actually balance this empire with life?
For me, recently, it's been fully admitting to myself that I can't do everything that I thought I could do, because I mess up just like everybody else. I'm not the perfect CEO. And there are things that have gone wrong in the past few months, and I've had to make hard decisions about, client placement with certain strategists, about how to salvage things when a client feels like we haven't seen them, and recognizing myself that like I have a lot of people to manage now, not just 6 people on my team internationally, but also 22 clients internationally, plus a 25-person alumni group for the Engagement Academy, plus my current Engagement Academy students. And it's just like growing, growing, growing so fast. And so for me, it's been setting boundaries with my Slack, which I could talk about all the live long day. Like you and Slack need to have a conversation about boundaries. It's been offloading my personal client load. So I don't know if people actually know this, but I have my own clients within the agency. So everybody has their own clients. I do too. And it sounds probably kind of silly to some people, especially to the people who are still out there like grinding, working 14-hour days. But
Mhm.
engagement is something that's exhausting. You have to be a different person for each client session that you do every day.
I imagine, yeah.
So at one point, I had 6, and then I got down to 5. And then for the past probably 8 months, I've had 4.
Mhm.
And today, I go down to 3, which means I only have an hour and a half of client specific work every day. And I'm sure for some people, they're like, what? She only has an hour and a half of client work? Like, yes, I only have an hour and a half of client work, but I am exhausted by the end of that, because I have to be 3 different people, track all this shit as I'm going, be talking to the client as I'm going, make sure there's no dumpster fires happening with the other 19 clients and 5
Mhm.
strategists on the team. So that was a really big decision for me, just going down one client to make an extra 30 minutes in my day. It was having someone on my team step into a bigger role where they could be my right hand woman. We call her our director of ops. Is that the right title? Probably not, but it's what works for us.
Yeah.
She's my right hand woman. She oversees everything. She's also our VA,
Mhm.
and she handles training our newbies too, which is huge for me, that I don't have to like set even more time aside to make sure everybody's good to go. Like I can trust my team. And
Mhm.
trusting your team is probably the best advice I could give to people who are looking to scale, whether it be to an agency or just because you need support,
Right.
and really finding someone that can be the backbone. So a lot of people who are familiar with Right Hand Glam know my girl Chloe. She's our director of ops. She's like this could not run without her. And I never thought that I could trust someone with what is my baby. Our businesses are
Mhm.
our babies. And I finally feel comfortable being like, I can go to London in April, which I will be, and be completely hands off
Yeah.
and not have to worry about a thing, because I know that she's here holding down the fort.
I love that. And Chloe's based out of Austin, so she is not even like in an office with you. This is someone, have
Yeah.
you all ever met in person?
I have not. I have met two girls on my team. Actually, no, that's a lie. I've met one girl on my team, and she actually just left us. Mental health is a huge pillar for us, and she came to me and she's like, "Look, I've been struggling with my mental health lately, and I just like honestly, I need that half hour back into my day." And I was like, "Girl, I get it. Door's always welcome for you to come back. Take care of yourself." So she's actually the only one I've met.
That's me. I mean, it's just crazy how this online business works. But I think just circling back to what you said about hiring people and trusting them, I think this is probably one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to being a leader is you think that when you hire people, that automatically means that that time is now yours again, when really that time goes back into making sure that your people have what they need and managing them off hands, not micromanaging, but that time doesn't just reappear in your calendar. It's just redelegated to different types of tasks. And so for I imagine for you, it's more the bigger picture strategy pieces,
Yes.
your education, which I want you to touch on in just a second as well. And then also like what that looks like to have a life outside of work so that you can show up and be fully present because you're alive over there. So tell us a little bit, is T correct?
Hey,
Hey,
yes.
tell us about T.
So T is the Engagement Academy, and it was actually an idea that my coaches gave to me. So everybody, was onboarding for this program. It was a 3-month program, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, I got my ass handed to me in my session with them." And I walked in and I was like, "I don't know, guys. Like, I feel like I have my shit together. Like, I feel like I'm pretty okay." And I go in and they're like, "Listen, we have this idea for you." And I was like, "Okay, tell me." And they were like, "We want you to teach other people how to add engagement to your product suite." And I was like, "Oh my God, that is the greatest idea I've ever heard. Done. Let's call it the Engagement Academy. I'll launch it in 3 weeks." And that is exactly what we did. So essentially I'm a big fan of alliteration.
Yeah.
I honestly, in another life, probably could have been a really freaking good copywriter. So the Engagement Academy gives SMMs and VAs, which we have opened it up further past that, which I would love to touch on in a second, but it gives mostly SMMs and VAs and some other people the tools, tech, and tenacity to add engagement to their product suite. So we cover what exactly is engagement in the way that we do it here at Right Hand Glam. We talk about strategies that convert, where we literally copy and paste exactly what we do here and give it to people and say, "This is yours now, go make it your own, use it to expand your business." We cover mindset and engagement. We do a live engagement walkthrough where they can watch me actually do someone's engagement for the day. We cover how to sell this to your clients, and then everybody gets a one-on-one with me. And then we also have Slack support every day, as well as our alumni community, and then the greater Right Hand Glam community overall. So we have like 70 people in the Right Hand Glam workspace. And so everybody gets access to that, which is really freaking cool. And it has grown beyond SMMs and VAs. So I had someone the other day who messaged me and she's like, "Listen, I'm an OBM. I work on launches and I have been eyeing this. Would it make sense for me?" And I was like, "Well, let's talk through this, right? So you are creating everything for the launch strategy and you're putting together the sales pages and you're making sure everything runs smoothly. What if you could sweeten the deal by being the person that actually drives the entire launch?" And she was like, "Done, I'm in, sold," and put herself on the wait list. And we're opening up a week from today, which is unreal. So 6 days from now, we will hopefully have people booking for our 5th round, which is
That's
insane.
amazing. Yeah, that's
5
amazing.
rounds in 5 months, essentially.
That's amazing. So Emma, how can people work with you? Because I imagine people are going to watch this and be like, "Okay, this is exactly what I've been missing. This is exactly what I need because I'm
Yes.
jumping on stories, nothing's converting. What am I doing wrong? Where are all these people who say that they follow me?" So how do they find you? How do they work with you? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the easiest way to find us is on Instagram, because I'm on Instagram all the live long day. If I'm doing someone's engagement on my iPad, it means my Instagram is up on my computer. So Instagram is really the best way. I always tell people, like, if they find me on Facebook, I'm like, just go message me on Instagram. Like, that's where you're gonna get me. So at Right Hand Glam on Instagram. And we have 3 main ways that you can work with us. So we have done for you engagement, which we currently have 1 spot left for March. So if that sounds spicy to you, let's chat. We are hoping to be able at someday very soon to be able to work with like 30 people in a month. Right now, as I said earlier, we're at 22 for the month of March, which is wild. So done for you engagement is for people who don't want anything to do with doing their engagement on their own. They want to completely outsource it. They want the strategy done for them. And they want us to implement it. And we say, yeah, okay, but you're not going to be completely hands off here because this is a collaboration and we need to be in touch with you. We're going to keep you updated every single day. Communication is really, really the backbone of engagement. So
Yeah.
Done for You engagement is our first offering. Our second offering is the Engagement Academy, which, as I said, mainly aimed at SMMs and VAs who are looking to add something a little bit juicier to their product suite, sweeten the deal of what they're already offering. And I will say, if you already offer engagement, don't write yourself off for the Engagement Academy, because I have had a number of people who actively offer engagement to clients right now who took the Engagement Academy because they wanted to learn how we did it. Because obviously, with 22 clients worldwide and a team of 6 and a multi 6-figure year last year, like, obviously we know what we're doing. Something's working here. So why wouldn't you want to learn this? And the last thing, our most recent launch, is one-on-one strategy sessions. So I had a lot of people coming to me being like, look, I don't want to outsource my engagement. I know kind of generally what I need to do, but I want to set up like specific systems and strategies to make that work better. And I didn't have a way to work with people one-on-one. So now I offer 90-minute sessions on Fridays only, where you can come and sit down with me and we can talk about your engagement strategy. People have asked me to do like Instagram masterclasses, and I'm like, don't love the idea of that for me. I'm very much about doing what feels aligned for your energy and what feels good for you. But I have people that have come to me and been like, I want to learn how you approach your Instagram strategy. Great, we can sit down and talk about that. I also think there's a lot of value in, if you are someone who just like needs to brain dump, having someone to come bounce that off of. So just inviting people to book a call to be like, okay, I want to sit down with you for 90 minutes and I want to talk through all of my ideas and how we can make sense of them and make them work. So these strategy sessions are really for anybody who is looking for more clarity in their business, in their Instagram, in their engagement, and their mindset too, because mindset is something that's so huge for me. I've been working with a life coach now for almost as long as I've been working with a business coach, and it has made so much of a difference in not only how I show up for myself in my day-to-day life, but how I show up in my business. So I love talking to people about that too.
I love that. Thank you, Emma. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing everything about engagement, everything that you're doing. I'm so excited for you. I will drop all of Emma's contact information right below, so make sure to check her out and grab that spot for March. So Emma,
Yes.
thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.